right. Hey, welcome to Have a Great Gig. I'm Andy Keithley, and this is the first episode of the podcast. So thanks for tuning in. I've been leading bands and gigging for 15 years, literally thousands of gigs, hundreds and hundreds of weddings, private parties, etc. And I've learned a lot about little things you can do just to set yourself up for a polished, professional, stress-free experience on a gig. A lot of this stuff might seem like just basic common sense, and it is, but you would be surprised at how often people just overlook this stuff and wind up stressed out, not making a great impression on the client and the guests because of little things they could have done to make it easier on themselves. Today, I'm going to talk about what I call the stop before the stop, which is basically stopping, getting prepared for the gig just outside of the gig. First thing to remember is that it's a job. You've been hired, you're getting paid. So do the clients, the guests, the planners, and yourself a huge favor by being early and well prepared. What it used to be like, and how I kind of learned to do this, is we would leave the apartment roughly on time, kind of Google map it real quick and say, oh yeah, we'll get there on time. You get there, half hour before, and think that'll be enough. And then we get on the road and there's traffic. Somebody's got forgets an instrument or something. Where I'm at in Southern California, you can almost always bet on there being an accident or some kind of huge traffic backup, which could eat, 15, 20 minutes or more off of your travel time. Most of the gigs that we're doing are, roughly an hour to 2.5 hours away, sometimes more. Obviously, if it gets much further than that, you may need a hotel room the night before. Like when we're going up to Lake Tahoe in a couple weeks, we're going up the day before to get that drive out of the way. That's a different story. I'm talking about local gigs from anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours away. You got to leave early, super duper early. I usually try and get there around 2 hours before downbeat, sometimes earlier than that if I can. And it's better to kill time at the gig with all your stuff set up than to kill time at home with everything ahead of you. All the drive, the setup, all this stuff in front of you. Don't kill time then, kill time at the gig. So back in the day, we used to leave, what we thought was on time. We would be driving there, and maybe there's traffic, maybe not, but we're basically driving straight to the gig without stopping. And we pull into the gig. We've all been in the car for 2 hours or whatever. And, one or some of us are not wearing gig clothes. You do the drive in shorts and sneakers or whatever, and you have your gig clothes in the bag. So, we get to the gig, we jump out. Half the band is not dressed for the gig. Everybody's doing a big stretch out of the car. You've just been sitting in the car for a couple hours. Everybody's hungry. Nobody's eating anything because we didn't have time to stop. Half the band's got to use the bathroom, and the first question to the client is, "Hey, where's the bathrooms?" Or I can remember at least one time, one of my band members, his first question was, "I'm famished. I haven't eaten anything all day. Is there any food ready to go?" So you don't want to be making your first impression like that. Any of those changing clothes when you get there, in view of the clients or the guests, it's a bad look. So what I adopted years ago, and what I like to do every time there's a gig now, I leave early, very early, multiple hours early. I factor in the stop before the stop. So, usually you're on a freeway or highway somewhere, and then you're going to get off at an exit, and the last anywhere from mile to 10, 20 miles could be on a smaller back road, through neighborhoods. Maybe there's nothing nearby. So as soon as I get off the freeway on the very last exit, until before the gig, I find either a gas station or a grocery store. Gas station, sort of always there, always works. It's a good idea to fill up on gas. You never know, if you're running low on gas and you play the gig and then you're all done and it's 11 o'clock, it's midnight or later, and now you've got to find a gas station. So fill up on gas, use the bathroom. That's just so you don't have to do that very first thing when you get to the venue. When it comes to the bathrooms, a little trick I like is finding a grocery store. They usually have nicer bathrooms. Every grocery store has a bathroom, and they're usually a little bit cleaner and a little bit nicer than your average gas station. So I usually will map a Trader Joe's or something, and that also gives you the opportunity to grab some snacks, grab some water. You should never assume that the client's going to have water for the band. And again, you don't want to be wasting setup time by walking around asking, hey, is there any water? Is anybody set up? Usually the bar and the catering are not set up that early in the day. So grab all that stuff when you stop, change clothes. All these things are going to allow you to, then you're close to the gig. You're maybe 15 minutes, half hour tops from the gig. That's not a long drive. You make it to the gig, you get out, you're all dressed up, you have all your supplies, you're ready to go. You're ready to start setting up. Your first impression with the client is a band that is dressed, not looking for the bathroom, not looking for water or food right away. First impressions are very important for your band. If you want to get hired again, I get a lot of repeat clients because they like how we do things. And that also goes with the showing up early thing. Nobody's ever said, oh my gosh, you're too early, you got to come back. They're all dealing with a million things and stressing out about all these little details. And the band's there, great, that's one less thing that they have to worry about. The band is here. So this simple built-in prep stop has helped me make each gig run way more smoothly. I'm not stressed out. I got plenty of time. And most importantly, a first impression to the client is that we are prepared in every single way possible. And it's usually the stuff you don't think about, like needing to go to the bathroom and those other, being dressed for the gig, all that stuff. So are you making the stop before the stop? Stopping before the gig outside, a few miles away? Give it a shot, try it, and see how much it helps and sets you up for a successful gig. Thanks again for tuning in. Email me at haveagreatgig@gmail.com. Follow up on Twitter and Instagram at haveagreatgig. Let me know how this is working for you. Try it out on your next gig. And please leave a review on your podcast app. Thanks for listening, and hey, have a great gig.